For some background, I'm a male in my late 20s living in northern Canada. Last weekend, I got a call from a friend telling me that while on his Skeeto ride, he went by my cabin as it was on his route, as that it looked like someone broke into it and smashed all the windows. Devastated, I went to my shed to load up my Skeeto and sled with boards and tarp to repair the windows, hopeful to keep some snow out of my cabin until I can properly replace the windows in spring. Just as I was about to leave, I got this gut feeling that something was wrong and I should take a rifle just in case. Better safe than sorry. As I started my ride into the woods, I noticed the sky getting darker and think to myself, great, now I have a storm to deal with too. Luckily it wasn't a snowstorm, but a thick fog that rolled in fast. There's nothing more unsettling than being alone in the woods, encased by a thick fog, especially with God knows what around you. I finally get to my cabin and sure enough, all my windows are smashed. I unload all my gear and get to work, trying to get my cabin secure as fast as I can and get the heck out of there. At some point, I feel like I'm being watched, which gives me a lump in my throat because I can't see anything in this fog. I hear something moving through the trees and automatically grab my rifle and put my back to the cabin, hoping that if something comes out of the fog, I'll be ready for it. My first thought was it was the person who broke into my cabin, coming back under the cover of the fog to see what else they could take. But then I realized that no Skeeto approached me, as I would have heard one from miles away, as it was so quiet around there. After waiting a while with no noises coming from the woods, I go back to work, get my windows fixed, and return back to my Skeeto to get the heck out of there. After a short ride, I noticed something that looked like potholes in the middle of the trail. Turns out to be polar bear tracks, leading to my cabin. That creepy feeling of being watched and the noises from the woods was a polar bear stalking me, and was the actual culprit of the break-in at my cabin. What disturbs me the most is that I would never have seen it coming with all that fog that day, and my rifle would practically be useless against such a big animal. To this day, I feel lucky to be alive. I was 14 at the time of the incident. I was home with my brother, grandma, and baby cousin. My brother invited some girl over. She looked normal but seemed a bit nervous. My grandma asked her some questions and told her if her or my brother needed anything to let her know. Anyways, my grandma told me to stay upstairs and allow my brother and the girl privacy downstairs. Of course, me being the nosy little sister, I wanted to know everything, especially this new girl my brother brought home. I snuck downstairs quietly and looked over the banister. I saw the girl looking outside the backyard and asking my brother questions like, "Who all live here? Is this your guys' house? It's so nice." Hearing the conversation, I decided to listen to my grandma and go back inside my room. I began to listen to music and felt the urge to look outside my window. I then saw a 2000 Chevrolet Impala parked outside our driveway. The door was wide open, and it appeared to be a man leaving our home with all our tech items from our home and packing it inside the car. The feeling of dread came. "Yo, what is going on?" I said. Then the loud sound of talking was heard downstairs, and my brother said, "Please, you don't have to do this." "Just let us leave if you know what's best," the girl responded. I hurried and ran to my grandma quietly as I can let her know what I saw downstairs and what I heard. She didn't understand the severity of what I was telling her and began to laugh, which made me kind of upset because our life could be in danger. I heard tires screech and saw the Chevrolet Impala speed down the street. I called out to my brother and he said, "Huh?" in a distraught voice. "What's going on? Who was that man outside?" I asked. He didn't reply. I walked downstairs and saw my brother shaking his head in disbelief, looking at where our TV used to be. The police came shortly due to my grandma calling them. We were later informed that my brother and the girl met for the first time that day off a dating app, and of course they met at our home. The girl of course set up the entire robbery. She was just a decoy until her boyfriend came to rob us. But this part I'm about to say makes my blood run cold. The guy who robbed us held my brother at knife point and said if he didn't comply, he would stab all of us upstairs as a punishment for him getting in the way. The cop asked my brother to give him a description, but he didn't. Later that day, we then heard a truck park on the side of our house. Whoever was in it yelled and threw a glass bottle down and drove off. I'm not sure if it was the same man who robbed us, but it terrifies me nevertheless. I'm grateful nothing happened to my brother or my family. If it goes to show you, you can't trust everyone. This happened when I was 13. I live in a duplex with my dad and brother. It was a 2-bedroom and I share a room with my dad, while my older brother had his own room. It was not uncommon for both of them to have plans at night, while I stayed home to play video games, alone. This night was no different. My dad was probably at some bar while my brother, who knows where he was. I was playing the original Resident Evil on PlayStation at around midnight. My eyelids were getting too heavy and I decided to go to bed. I slept with my bedroom door wide open. Now, not one time in the years that we lived in this place did my dad or brother come home by entering through the back sliding glass door. A couple times my brother didn't have his key for one reason or another, and he knocked on my bedroom window and asked me to let him in. My dad always has his key and would always come home through the front door. On this night, I heard the back door slide open. It was an old door, and sliding it open was not easy. It was also very loud, so I heard it crystal clear. I lay in bed, wide-eyed, my imagination going crazy. I heard whoever it was walk through the dining room, through the kitchen, then into the living room. They made no attempt to be quiet. After a brief silent pause, I saw someone walk outside by my bedroom doorway. This scared the living heck out of me, as you can imagine, and my heart throbbing. Whoever was in my house walked into the bathroom next to my bedroom and flipped the light on. The light poured into my bedroom, and I was laying there, terrified, completely exposed by the light of the bathroom. Why didn't I shout out for my brother or my dad? Because, like I mentioned earlier, I knew it wasn't them, and there was no one else it could have been that would have made sense. Not a family member, not a friend. I knew it was someone that didn't belong. The person then walked out of the bathroom, left the light on, and went into my brother's room and started making a ton of noise. It sounded like they were searching for something. All I did was lay there, shivering. After a few more minutes, the person walked by my bedroom again. I expected at any moment the stranger would walk into my room, but they didn't. I heard them making noise in the living room, walking around, huffing and puffing. Then they started walking back and forth by my bedroom repeatedly, into the bathroom and back out and over and over. At the time, I was 100% sure they were messing with me for some reason. They knew I was there, whoever they were. I heard the person making noise. By this, and by the huge figure I saw walking back and forth, I knew it was a man. They continued walking each room except the one I was in. Then suddenly, I heard them walk back through the door, to the back sliding door, open it, and then leave. I lay there in bed, terrified, wondering what the heck just happened. After a while, out of sheer exhaustion, I fell asleep. In the morning, I found out my dad and brother were home. I have asked them both dozens of times and they both promised it wasn't them. Plus again, why the heck would they go through the back door and then leave again through the back door again? It was 21 years ago. I'll never know who it was or why they were there. Nothing was missing either. What really makes me wonder to this day, why the heck did they never come into my bedroom? The door was wide open, and they walked by it at least 20 times.